another Breaking Bitcoin market update episode. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. We're getting started here in just 2 minutes. That's 120 seconds.
Kinda feels like this. Oh, hey, would you stay with me till the sun goes down? Being with you is so easy. Hey, if you want, honey, you can stick around. I don't know what it is about you, but you look so fine, riding shotgun in my car, top down when driving on the highway. The wind in our hair makes us look like movie stars. And you make me sing, yeah. Ooh, you make me sing, yeah. Oh, you make me sing, yeah. Ooh, you make me sing, yeah. Come on. I just wanna be close to your body, close to your body, close to your body. Oh, I just wanna be close to your body. Give me some sugar, honey, close to your body. Oh, I just wanna be. Oh, I just wanna be. Hey, what you say? Wanna stay in a hotel? Champagne and room service all night. Girl, I know this ain't no plaza, but I think we'll be alright. Ooh, come on. Isn't this really what life is all about? Doing what you can to have a good time. But baby, when I'm with
After a deep analysis of the Libra coin white paper, reviewing the opinions of respected developers in the space, and then weighting my own knowledge of mankind's history and the evolution of money and technology against what Libra coin is proposing, I have to say, guys, they're not telling us the whole truth about this thing. Buckle up, because we're taking a deep dive. This is Breaking Bitcoin. Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, your daily source for market updates, sentiment, and news for professional traders. Today is Wednesday, June 19th, 2019, recording live right out of the Breaking Bitcoin studio. Of course, I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at KrakenCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and whether you're watching us across Facebook, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, or of course live on Roku at the Investors News channel. Shout out to all you guys. We're going to have a great day. Today's episode of Breaking Bitcoin is brought to you by us. If you are a new trader or an experienced trader looking for something better and a system that works in all market conditions, please visit our premium info page to see all that we have to offer: proprietary indicators and strategies, reliable signals and setups from our team of analysts, as well as custom spreadsheets and tools, educational content in audio and video form from topics such as technical strategy, risk management and position sizing to sentiment. All this and more at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. That's premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. All right, guys, we've got a fantastic show for you today, but first, a few updates. So, for the Premium Trading Group members, last night I uploaded the Pine code in text form to complement the previous educational video on strategy testing and trading views Pine editing software. This way, our members are going to have a default template they can always refer back to if they happen to go off script and potentially make some mistakes. But again, I want you guys to be going off script. I want you guys to be experimenting and breaking things and testing and trying every single different strategy and method that you possibly can in the marketplace, and especially with a powerful tool like Pine's TradingView Strategy Tester, now that you know how to properly use it. So, I am currently reviewing the submissions of about, I'm going to say, honestly, the number is probably closer to 10, but I have 7 for sure on my board that I'm actively working on. These are all submissions for updates to the Advanced Trading Journal, and there are some fantastic ideas that I just did not have the programming knowledge to do, and that's what's fantastic about the resource that our group offers. There are so many brilliant people in there. We have brilliant programmers, we have brilliant we have brilliant traders, we have brilliant analysts. Just everything comes together when you have a group, when you have a society in which everybody is there for the same purpose and everybody is working hard to further themselves, because you get to absorb that knowledge through osmosis and contribute your own knowledge and experience as well. And that's how we all grow together as a group. So there are some fantastic ideas that I'm trying to work through, such as automatic calculation of USD weighted against a different margin that you would like to calculate in as your base currency, if you would. So Bitcoin or Ethereum, or God forbid ZERP was even an idea. But hey, I don't discriminate in however anybody wants to value their wealth. I would not recommend Ripple, but that's my own personal opinion. BTC value weighting, etc. And other advanced automation features, plus additional columns. So things like valuing, Bitcoin at the beginning and end of a trade, which is something that I already do manually, but incorporating that in an automated fashion that's going to work. So the difficulty for me is finding the best way to incorporate all of these concepts into a universal spreadsheet that is user friendly. And that's the challenge. It needs to be user friendly and needs to be applicable to all, but having as many features in there as possible is good, but you have to weight that against user friendliness. So osmosis drink. So the next update obviously is going to be the next module of PTP proper, and that's what I'm working on right now, covering the next element of our trading strategy. Of course, we have the ByBit competition going on. Registration is live. If you are interested in competing in the ByBit competition and the trading competition, then you can sign up using our referral link at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com. That's bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com, and get a hold of me in the Discord. All I need is your user ID. You can change your username actually to find your name to be you can find it easier on the leaderboard instead of having some random string of numbers or characters on the leaderboard. So most of our traders have changed it to their trading name or their moniker or whatever you guys want to use. But anyways, if you sign up with our affiliate link, then you can get a hold of me in the Discord and get me your user ID. I'll get you added to the leaderboard. The trading competition is going to start next week. There are going to be some prizes, but it is just a friendly competition. So do not take on any additional risk just to show off or prove that you're good. We all know that we're all good. Everybody in the group is a good trader. They all know the same strategy. They're all going to trade the same way. But for those of you who just want a little competition, because I do feel that friendly competition always helps spur your skills and make you perform at max performance, check that out. I want to thank, of course, our current Discord Nitro boosters. We still do need 2 more. If you guys would like to support what we're doing and you guys want to support the community, if you have Discord Nitro, you can boost our server. We get enhanced audio clarity, we get greater file size sharing, and we get more emojis, so it's fun for everybody. So you guys can, of course, go to Discord, discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com, and boost our Discord server if you would like to. All right. Now, as we do at the beginning of every show, I would like, listening covertly at work, I feel you, B-Flow. Jay Kreitzer, what's going on, my good man? Happy Wednesday, my good man. Thanks to the reply in Discord. Of course, man. I always reply to everybody. So I'm going to thank some people who have recently subscribed. We're going to do the random comment picker, and we're going to get into the market, and then we're going to break into Libra coins analysis. So I want to thank over on YouTube, Janine Powis, Sheena Zoe, Stun Gun, Bankroll Coin. Thank you guys so much for joining the Cracking Cryptocurrency community over there on YouTube. And Fizz Weary, thank you so much for the follow over there on Twitch. Welcome to the community, brother. So with that being said, let's break into the live scene, and boom. All right, so here we are, and let's get rid of that for easier clarity. Hopefully you guys can see very well right there. Okay, let's go over to our random comment picker. And what I need to do is, one moment, ladies and gentlemen. Let me pull this a little closer. There we go. How's everybody's day doing? Let me know in the chat. It is Wednesday. I am pumped. It is a good day. Trades are doing absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy to be back from my vacation. Put on new positions on Monday night. 2 new positions. I put on more positions last night. And gangbusters. All right. So yesterday's video was XRP, MoneyGram partnership, and Facebook's Libra coin. Is this the end of legacy financial systems? Trading has a lot of benefits. Okay. So we're going to go over here and choose a video. Enter this in, load comments. We've got 11 unique users to find, and we are going to randomly pick a winner. GBU Professor Wally says, super excited for the Pine programming. Thank you so much, Professor Wally. You are one of our top dudes. I love you, man. Thank you so much for all the support. Get a hold of me in the Discord, and I will be happy to tip you some crypto. In fact, I know exactly who you are, so I will DM you. But if I forget, probably won't, but DM me, brother. So thank you so much, man, for the support. And if you guys would like to be picked as a random comment winner, all you have to do is when the video is processed at the end of the show, leave a comment at the bottom. You can't do it while we're live, unfortunately, but we do like doing the live content. So as soon as the video is done processing, you can leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, sarcastic remarks, death threats, anything you guys like. It is all open for grabs. So getting over here into the Bitcoin chart. Oh, Wayne Tech, man. It was such a good time. You know, and here's the thing. Taking a vacation when you hate your job is one thing, because I've definitely worked jobs that I hate. Taking a vacation where you fundamentally love what you do every single day. I love trading. I would do it. Well, that's not true. So I do it. You know, I was going to say I'd do it even if I didn't make money. I would educate even if I didn't make money off of it. Off of my trading, because I do love teaching. I love showing people how to have success in the market, but a natural result of that is increased profit and profitability. So I absolutely love trading. I fell in love with it when I was young. I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do, and I've structured my life in such a way to be able to do exactly what it is that I love on a daily basis, and also help other individuals out find the success that they want. So, needless to say, the whole time I was on vacation, not the whole time I was on vacation, but a good portion of the time, that's not even true either. While I was on vacation, I'm going up in a roller coaster, and I have thoughts about how the market works. And I have concepts that I write down in my journal that I carry everywhere with me, my little notepad, so that I can not lose thoughts that otherwise would just disappear into the ether, and I can come back and revisit those later. I actually have a nice little board of ideas and concepts and fundamentals that I want to work through, that I had kind of aha moments during my vacation. And when you're on a roller coaster screaming down at 90 miles an hour, I don't think we actually got that fast, but I'm going to tell my kids that we got 90 miles an hour. And let's see here. I digress. It was a good time. I had a blast, man. If you guys haven't been to the St. Louis City Museum, I highly recommend that you do that. That place was so fun. I lost all inhibitions and just cut loose and started running all over the place like a wild man with my kids. So here we are on the Bitcoin chart on the daily. As I said yesterday, would not be taking any action. We can see that a bottom buy would have been profitable. It wasn't a reversal trade that I would take. Let's take a gander and see if we did bounce off of our 8-period exponential moving average. Not quite. Came close into the vicinity of it. That's going to be our fast exponential moving average as opposed to our baseline, and then our secondary baseline, which we really haven't gotten into and really haven't talked a whole lot about, is our secondary baseline. What are we looking for? What is the purpose? How does that interact with our trading? And we're just not quite there yet, guys. We will get there. So here on the daily, obviously, the last long signal that we got generated from, we talked about this as well. We talked about this yesterday. This was a situation in which, by the books, this was not a trade we would have caught because it wasn't a trade that I took. Now, on the 11th, I want to make sure that I have that date correct. Yeah, oh no, on the 12th, actually. No, it was the 11th because we closed above the baseline. Sorry. So on the 11th, I did move out of my 1x short, moved into a Bitcoin holding. So this entire movement to the upside has been beneficial for my USD value. Haven't actually made a whole lot of BTC value on it just for my Bitcoin holdings because that's just a 1x long. So it's just the same as sitting in spot Bitcoin, for example, all the funds that I have on ByBit. And what I have increased my BTC value with is my altcoin trades, because that is the purpose. We take alt to BTC trades to increase our BTC valuation and the purposes of having a higher appreciation of Bitcoin to sell that into more USD, because I do value my wealth in USD. I don't actually value my wealth in Bitcoin because USD is my native currency. Now, does that not mean that I have a diversified basket of investments that I think would protect me in case of a global crisis? Would I not see shifts in my holdings? Is that something that's locked in and deterministic for the rest of my life? Absolutely not. But it is the way that things are now. And I think that it's very important as a trader to have ideas and plans for the future, but also exist in the framework of what currently exists now, because and this is true of all revolutionaries, you are much better, and I know that this is a controversial subject too, so just take everything that I'm going to say with a grain of salt and understand that, yes, I've thought through probably everything that you could probably throw at me, and this is the conclusion that I've come to. You are much more able to affect positive change in the world if you are doing financially well. Okay? I don't care how altruistic you are. If you cannot pay for advertising, if you cannot pay to get your message out, if you cannot even pay for people to listen to you, if you cannot pay for people to spread your message, if you cannot pay for your cost of living, if you cannot pay to entertain or acquire a meeting with somebody who is influential in the space, regardless of whatever your mission is, you're going to have a tougher time, as opposed to if you are an independently successful financial individual. Keep in mind, too, that there is no altruism in pursuing a goal at the expense of your family and friends and loved ones, okay? So for me as a father, because I am dedicated to providing a good life for my children. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a pretty tough dad because I want my kids to be self-sufficient. So there is no helicopter parenting in my household. There is no nanny state in my household. My kids are responsible for their messes. My kids are responsible for everything that they imply. Just the other day, actually while we were on vacation. And I remember the first time we had this conversation, it upset my daughter. And that's something that I think, as a good parent, need to walk through. So my daughter really likes animals. And she grabbed this frog out of a pond and ended up tagging along with us for days and days and days and days and days. And she made the comment that, Dad, if this frog dies, it's not my fault. And I corrected her. I said, no, it's absolutely your fault. That frog's future survival is now completely your responsibility, because you took it out of its natural environment and you injected your life into its, right? You took control of its destiny, and so you are responsible for anything that happens afterwards. Now, of course, you don't have to feel bad. The frog is naturally going to die, honey, but you have to understand and accept the burden of responsibility for interfering with another living organism. And, I remember the first time we had a conversation like that, it upset her. This time, she was like, yeah, okay, you're absolutely right. And I think that is, in my opinion, that's good parenting. In fact, I know that's good parenting. I don't really care what anybody else says, because you don't service your children by painting some fantasy picture of the universe around them. My children know nothing but love and happiness, but they also understand responsibility, discipline, dedication, hard work, and effort. And that is what they need to survive. I understand that 90% of what they're learning in school is absolutely useless. The important things that are going to be deterministic of their success in life are going to be the discipline, the dedication, the patience, the morality, and the ethics that they learn in their young age. So that's what I focus on in my household. Moving on. Chris. Oh, shoot, man. Justin's on fuego. Okay, let's get into Bitcoin. So, after that brief descension into amphibian life and humans' purpose on it. Who watches the watchers, guys? Who watches the watchers? Okay. So, Bitcoin not doing a whole lot of anything, and I'm pretty glad that I didn't take a position. There's no need to take a position. There was no trade to be taken. There was no short to be taken. There was no long to be taken on the daily time frame, which is the time frame that I generate my results off of, that I generate my long-term signals off of. So one thing that I do want to point out is this big volume spike, and for this exact reason, I was pointing this out last night to a member about taking a discretionary trade. I did take a discretionary reversal trade last night. Let's actually take a peek and see how it is working out. It is in slight drawdown. So, as to be expected, but the purpose is I saw elements that are discretionary in PTP, and I applied those to this trade. So typically, and this is a concept, so typically when you see a large volume spike, after a pronounced uptrend, that can be a sign that price is going to consolidate or reverse. You see volume come in at the beginning and at the end of a trend. At the beginning of a trend, because that's when the buying impulse happens, and then you have price appreciation as the herding mentality and the trend following traders like myself come in and continue to buy up the asset and appreciate it further and further and further. And then you have a large volume spike at the end, generally after a local high has been rated or after liquidity has been grabbed, or you have a final impulse of late stage buyers. And those individuals are providing the liquidity for individuals that have purchased along the way to exit en masse. This is how institutional order flow works. And then the trend typically reverses as all those individuals who jumped into the trend with herd mentality at the onset of the trend and throughout the trend are now jumping in the opposite direction to sell at the best price that they can possibly sell at before price pulls back closer and closer and closer to their entry level. And you're going to have different levels of panic and psychology for each individual that is a market participant based upon where they purchased and where they are allowed to sell. So, and what do we see here? We do see a classic example of what a reversal would look like. So you have a big volume spike, you have a reversal candle, something akin to a gravestone doji or just a reversal doji in general. Not a shooting star pattern, so not the follow through on this. Of course, this is just talking about analysis right now, not talking about trading. And but again, and this is exactly what I pointed out yesterday, anybody who took that short trade or who took the short trade down here at the close of the candle got absolutely wrecked. This is why we do not, except for very, very, very rare situations like last night, trade reversals. So again, I just want to make that clear. 99.9 out of 10 trades that I take are always going to be trend following trades. There is going to be the occasional reversal trade based on external factors. Okay, that does happen. I'm not going to deny myself an opportunity to take a trade, but just as with my entry and exit system, just as with my position sizing, just as with my diversification of crossed assets, there are mathematical rules. So I can only take a certain percentage of reversal trades based upon the number of trades that I've put on. That is a rule that I lock with myself. And adhering to rules, and I talked about this yesterday. What is the best way to be successful as a trader? Follow your strategy. The reason why most traders fail is because they just hop into the market willy-nilly and they try different things and they experiment with different things in the live setting, which is not the place to experiment. The place to experiment is in your back testing. And if you're going to experiment live, you need to be experimenting with small capital. You need to be experimenting with small capital. You need to be positive. You need to have a system that you have tested to work, and then you forward test it to make sure that it performs as it should. Because when you forward test, when you test live in the live market, errors that you made in your back testing are going to become very prevalent. And through these errors, through this debugging, you can often arrive at a very profitable strategy. But if you don't do things right and you just do your back testing and then you just jump right into the live scene and you don't debug, it can lead to problems, capital loss. So anyways, no signal to do anything right now. Having a pullback last night on Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually closed yesterday at 90.78, so holding the $9,000 level and currently trading at around 9,121. And what does that mean? That means that we can, just one second. I don't have the scene, guys. I don't have the scene, and it would take me a moment to set it up. So I promise that I'll do this tomorrow, the proper one. But oh shoot, I thought I had it here. Oh, okay, I do have it.
It's over 9,000!
We can do that. We can do that safely. Okay, great. If you guys will recall, normally I have lots of the GIFs on screen and the memes and all the excitement and all the love and everything. So we'll do that. We'll do that tomorrow. I'll get that set up because I did switch from Streamlabs OBS to regular OBS, and I quite like it. I think it's a much better setup. Allows me to do a lot more things neatly. It's not that my resources are an issue, but it is less on the resources, not going to lie. Streamlabs OBS, the actual desktop application, comes loaded with a lot of bloatware, and it's very nice. It's very nice for people who are new to streaming, but when you've reached a level where you've been streaming every day for a very long time, you know exactly how to set up all your settings. It's unnecessary. Okay. let's take a look. We are above the baseline. Minx is above the zero line, but within static, which is typically a no trade zone. And we still have a bullish Wadatar, so still a rising explosion level and still printing green bars above the explosion level. However, what we are looking for, or an early exit that we don't use, but an early exit in Wadatar itself, is when you close a green column below the explosion level, irregardless of whether the explosion level is rising or falling. So irregardless of whether the line is yellow or black, because that's how it's visually displayed in my version of Wadatar, so CC Wadatar explosion. That would be an early exit signal in and of itself, as is Minx crossing below the zero line. So let's throw on RVGI, which is the indicator that I have displayed on stream actually for quite a while now. It's probably the one I'll continue to use. Again, this is not the actual one that I use, but it is very, very, very good. If you don't have an indicator to get you out of a trade, I highly recommend that you start with RVGI, because then at least you have a baseline of which to test all your other exit indicators against. So anyways, RVGI is not crossing to the downside. So the way this works, guys, is if you're in a long trade, when the green line crosses under the red line, you're out of the trade. There is no argumentation. You close your position, whether you're in profit or whether you're in loss. When the green line crosses under the red line, you get out of the trade, period. If price closes below the baseline, you get out of the trade. That's just how it works. These are the rules. And it doesn't matter if price then pumps. It doesn't matter, because you will lose more money. You will lose more money in the long run by not respecting this rule than any short-term gain you would have made on a trade or 5 trades or 10 trades or 100 trades by not following the rules. All right. This is become evidently clear in my testing and in my live trading, and it just works. So RVGI is not crossing to the downside. So if you are using a less sensitive exit indicator like RVGI, although I find RVGI on the setting of 8 crosses that nice balance between sensitive enough to get you out of a bad trade or out good at a good price, and not sensitive enough to keep you in a winning position before something like Minx would kick you out. So Minx kicked you out of this trade on the close of yesterday's candle. Wadatar still has you in, and of course the baseline still has you in as well. So nothing to do right now with Bitcoin. Let's go down to the lower time frames and see if we can find a trade. 12-hour, we are still above the baseline. Wadatar is basically telling us to take no trades since the candle closed at 1900 my time. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to switch the time that I utilize on stream to UTC time, because this has been a request, because obviously I trade CDT. That's the time frame that I use. But of course, we have viewers from all over the world, and so we're just going to use UTC time to make things more easily explained. So actually at midnight UTC, so 0000, we've basically been told to be out of any and all positions. And if we go back to where Wadatar would have generated a primary signal, would have actually been right here on the 12-hour chart, we can see a Wadatar green column above the explosion level and a rising explosion level and price above the baseline. Of course, that cannot be all the elements in your system, but in this particular situation, this is a valid setup. If you're just using Wadatar explosion, would have you in this trade and would get you out of this trade on this candle, right? So it would have you in at the close of, let's say 82.38 and exiting on the close of this candle at 91.7842. So about a 12% trade, 11.47%, give or take a few quadrants there. So not a bad trade whatsoever. Okay. Let's go down, and no signal currently at this point in time, although price is still above the baseline, so our bias would be bullish. 8-hour time frame. Similarly, we would have gotten to a trade anywhere around here on any trend following system. We can see all the continuation longs and longs that Minx is throwing up. Minx would have got you out of the trade here. RVGI, I assume, would have got you out later. And we are now getting an 8-hour continuation long on this candle. This candle will be closing in 6.5 hours. So at the daily candle close, we might have an 8-hour continuation long. Let's go down to the 6-hour chart. 6-hour chart gave us a long signal and a continuation long over the last, not the current, but the last 12 hours. We would have gotten 2 signals from the 6-hour time frame. Now, the primary signal would have been invalid. The continuation would have been valid, however. So let's go down to the 4-hour. 4-hour would have given you a long signal that we wouldn't have taken because it's not valid. And threw up a short, but you're not going to trade against the daily, so that was not a good short, and that's good because we wouldn't have taken it. And the 4 hour currently threw up a short. So depending on what time frame you want to trade, I would, again, my bias is of course going to be to the long side because that is the more statistical likely place for price to go. However, again, keep in mind this is not a situation where I'm going to be entering into a trade whatsoever. Well, what was that? Our recent post has breached community guidelines. Our Libra wallet has been suspended for 3 days. Thanks for understanding. Did you guys see that? What the heck? I can't. Is that? That's the future, guys. That's the future. Okay, so let's see here. Apparently, I don't like me talking about Bitcoin. Let's take a gander here. All right, so nothing to do here on the daily for Bitcoin, guys. But again, my bias is to the long side, but no trade that I would be actively taking at this point in time until I get a daily continuation. All right, so getting over to Ethereum on Coinbase, Ethereum having a little bit more volatility and pulling back to the daily baseline. Let's take a look at our indicators. Minx is above the zero line, but within static, i.e. no trade zone. Let's see here. Lane, no. Fast settings. Wadatar explosion is printing bars underneath the explosion level, so there's nothing to be done even with a rising explosion level. This is not even telling us to go short. I'm glad you guys like that. All right. Not even telling us to go short. So price, again, still biased to the long side on Ethereum, but we are in a no trade zone. There's no volume. There was no volume on yesterday's candle, even after the pullback to the daily baseline. As you can see, if we look at volume, it was below the volume moving average. If we look at the volume oscillator, it was below the zero line. RVGI has not yet told us to exit our position, to exit a trade that we would have taken. I don't know, here? Yeah, maybe here. We got a long signal here, but I think we were too far above the explosion level. Again, this isn't a trade that I took. No, actually, that was a valid long to take. That was a valid long to take. Would we have hit take profit one? No, we would have been in here or here or here on a pullback. And currently in profit, not very much on this Ethereum trade. And again, this isn't a trade that I took myself. So let's see here. Honestly, guys, there's not a whole lot to talk about right here. You know, price is in this consolidation. Wadatar has done a good job of keeping us out of positions when they were unprofitable to take positions, and that's exactly what we want our entire system to do. It's not just to catch good trades. It's also to have something there to say, whoa, 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 man. This is not worth it. This is not your trade. You just need to take a step back, sir. Just step right back onto the bus and go read a book and don't take a trade. Because as a PTP trader, when the market is moving in our favor, we generate a lot of capital. We generate a lot of ROI. And the important thing is that when the market enters into consolidation or a shift in trend, we're going to get less signals. And that's going to tell us to stay out of the market. We're not addicted to taking trades. Again, because we trade every pair on Binance and every pair on ByBit and every pair on BitMEX, we're often going to have many, many trades that we can put on every single night. So, and that is exactly what we do. We take every every signal that our system gives us because the system works that way. Drawdown is covered by the profits, and overall, at the end of the day, we have exposed ourselves to a wonderful ROI generating opportunity. But there are going to be times when PTP tells you, don't take so many trades because, did I buy a note for Libra? Because, I lost my train of thought. There are going to be times when PTP does not tell us to take many trades because the opportunity cost is not worth it, right? The risk to reward ratio is not there, and PTP automatically understands that, and you go forward with that knowledge. So nothing to do here for Ethereum. We are in a no trade zone. Again, my bias is to the long side, is to the bullish side. There was a potential trade to have been made yesterday, not a complete reversal back to the baseline, but buying in the vicinity of the baseline, potentially if you were lucky enough, or potentially you even bought at the close of this candle, you'd be up a little bit. Again, not the trade that I would have taken personally. Volume is quite low. Wadatar is threatening. When Wadatar looks like this and not like this, it means that momentum and volatility are lacking. And even though, and again, right now, we are printing columns below the explosion level, clearly telling you, take no trade. If you're using volume oscillator has told you to be out of a trade. All volume is below the zero line, which you want volume to the upside or to the downside, whichever way price is moving to generate a profitable trend. And again, Minx is in a no trade zone. So my bias is to the long side, not a trade that I'll be taking. I need to see price cross above. I need to see Minx give me a continuation long to take a trade, because a continuation long at this point in time would be valid. And again, if you entered into a trade, RVGI is not telling you to get out of the trade yet. So there is that into account. All right, let me take a sip of water and... It's 12:34, so having done Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're going to jump into traditional markets and Forex real quick, and then we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to take a deep dive into Libra coin. Do I have a video on my method of backtesting? Yes. Yes. It's called PTP, brother. Yep. In fact, in Module 2, I already go over how to manually and automatically with Pine Trading View Tester backtest your strategy and indicators of choice. And as we continue to progress through PTP, I will show you how to manually backtest and programmatically backtest every other element of PTP that you wish to incorporate. Decentralized for life, Finchmeister. I feel you, brother. About to throw Bitcoin billionaire on here. All right. Let's go to main live requests here. For some reason, this favorite drawing tools bar keeps popping up. And we're going to get into, first we're going to start off with our, actually we need to refresh, sorry. Nope, no break yet, brother. No break yet. Although I should pause and mention that if you guys are interested and would like to use the free indicators that I have published, including CC EMA, including Wadatar Explosion, and including my CC Ichimoku script, all of these indicators come with alerts. You guys can find them at indicators.krakencryptocurrency.com. That's indicators.krakencryptocurrency.com. Many of the indicators are free and public to use. Ron Legato, man, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, brother. Dropping some Ethereum. Hop up on in there into the ASIC, man. Thank you so much, brother. Did I not even throw in a message down, man? That is good people. That is good people. Thank you so much for the support and the patronage, my brother. Thank you so much for being a member of our community. All right, let's see here. All the way. Okay, I got you. Thank you. I mean, I'm cool with it. I understand how to turn it off, but it just automatically pops up all the time. BAT USDT would be awesome. Yeah, sure, man. Let me go down to requests. BAT USDT. Okay. Full disclosure, I am in a BAT USDT position, so... ACP Stunts, thank you so much for the $2, my brother. He says, here, have my free super chat monies. Thank you, man. Highly appreciated. Shout out to the evil YouTube overlords and the Illuminati for allowing you to grace us with that. Thank you so much for the support, though, man. You didn't have to do that for us. I appreciate it. All right. So, sorry, guys. Let's get into CFDs, and then we'll go through Forex. So, we're going to start with precious metals. We'll go and look at ZAO. ZAO to the dollar, CFD on a Wanda. Of course, I track all the CFDs, even though I'm not able to trade them myself, because I find that that is the most liquid and best place to go look for the trades. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm not 100% sure if it works, so let's try it out. I added some stuff last night. I don't see... There it is. I was going to say, I saw your super chat, Elijah, but thank you so much for the $1, my good brother. Much appreciated, my good man. It's good to see that I got the jar working there. The ASIC is hungry today, man. Highly appreciated. Thank you, brother. All right. Oh, man, Nick M coming with a $4.99 says super chat train. Hey, it's much appreciated, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nick M. You are the man, brother. Of course, guys, never feel like you have to donate. We do appreciate it. You know, all the Google AdSense revenue goes to improving the stream. That's what bought the lights. That's what bought the new OBS software. Well, not the new OBS software, but Just upgrading the package custom graphics. So thank you guys. It does go to support the stream and improve what we do here every single day. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support. All right, let's see here. I did add some games in chat. I don't know if they work. I unhid that, Jay Kreutzer. You're good, brother. I think it's Heist. I think you can do that and Gamble and Slots and Duel or Duels or something like that. I don't know. You guys can play around with them. I think they work on YouTube and Twitch. Maybe they only work on Twitch. I'm not 100% sure. Set them up through Streamlabs. Good luck. All right. Good luck. Okay. It's a live testing right here. Some live testing. You guys can kind of let me know which ones you guys like. Just wanted something for you guys fun to do. I think there's also like emote pyramids or something you guys might get a prize for. Things like that. All right. Anyways, moving right along. Let's look at ZAO USD. ZAO USD, again, looking quite good, looking quite bullish. Gold has just been a fantastic trade ever since we got the initial signal. Okay, so let's talk about this. 26th of May got a long signal on gold. Let's see if we would have taken that. Yes, we would have. And then it makes up for it over here on the 30th of May because that is a very small loss. And then we get right back in the trade over here on the 30th and able to capture this move to the upside. Continuation long here that is now finally starting to play out. So again, ZAO USD, nothing to do at this moment in time. Nothing to do with this moment in time, but again, my bias is to the long side on the ZAO USD CFD. All right, did the slots not work? Well, darn, man. Maybe it only works over there on Twitch, or maybe I set it up wrong. Let's go over to Twitch. Well, I guess it's not working. Well, that's my bad. I will try to mess with it and figure it out. But not bad. Not bad at the outset. Okay. So the volume oscillator, Zach Coma. Let's touch on that, brother. There we go. So the volume oscillator is it is an oscillator. I mean, it's quite simple, man. It oscillates to, well, it shouldn't just be a Twitch thing because I have it set up through CloudBot. So CloudBot is doing both Twitch and YouTube. Anyways, moving on. So volume oscillator, quite simple, is looking at the relationship between volume and the volume moving average. Well, and to be more honest, it's taking two different moving averages of volume and comparing them against. So basically you have a signal line. So just the way that the MACD works. So the MACD is a line that is the slow length divided by the fast length. And that gives you your MACD line, right? The 12 divided by the 26, or the 26 divided by the 12. And then you take a 9-period exponential moving average of that to get the signal line, okay? So the volume oscillator is just like the MACD line, excuse me. I wanted to make sure I explained that properly. It's just like the MACD line, but you're talking about two different moving averages of volume, not price action. So you can actually go into the volume oscillator and set your short length and your long length, okay? And actually, this would be quite simple to write yourself in Pine. We're actually going to write something very similar to this. We're going to write a more advanced MACD. So this is a super simple, basic MACD, I guess you would say, of volume. 100 Killa Malka. Yeah, I have a Trading Crypto 101 playlist on the YouTube channel. You can check that out at yt.krakencryptocurrency.com. Well, I see you're on YouTube right now, so you could just, boom, yep. Automatic answers. Thank you guys so much. That's a strong community. So you can adjust the lengths, the short length and the long length, to make this more sensitive or less sensitive based on your needs. And the best way to figure this out is just to use it or just to test it. Just test it. Test different settings. And you want to go see what settings on volume oscillator are going to filter out the most losses. All right. So volume oscillator should not be kicking you out of trades that you would otherwise take. What volume oscillator should be doing is keeping you out of trades that you would have taken that ended up not being profitable, because you need volume there to enter into a trend, for there to be a higher probability of the trend paying off. Wada Atar, boom, coded into the Pine into my system. Yep. So you can actually make sure when you go, yeah, we can go look at the code here real quick. Yeah, so it's short minus long times 100 divided by long length. Yep, so you're just basically getting the exact same thing. So the way that this works is you have a zero line, and when the volume oscillator is above the zero line, it means that current term volume is greater than longer term volume, i.e. volume momentum is rising. So there's more volume coming in than there was previously. And that is signal that volume is entering into the market, meaning a trending trade is likely to be very profitable or have a higher probability of success. And conversely, when the volume oscillator is below zero, that is a no trade zone. So, correct. Yep, that's the way to take it. If you are using volume oscillator as one of your confirmation indicators. Let's see here. Let's say 43. Let's do that. 43 to 45.10. Okay, so I've got BAT USDT, so let's continue through these CFDs. We looked at gold. Let's look at palladium. Palladium continues to just explode, and nothing could make me happier. Again, I've been talking about this for a while. One of the things that I regularly diversify my portfolio into is precious metals. Physical precious metals. So I just bought, and when it comes to precious metals, you kind of have to buy them in bulk to make it even make sense to buy them. So palladium is one of the, again, gold, when you're buying physical gold, when you're buying physical silver, when you're buying physical palladium, when you're buying physical platinum, anything like that, you kind of have to save up for a while. You kind of have to save up for a while. And you can't just generally hop down and buy. Well, you can. You can buy like cheap silver and cheap gold. Not cheap. You can buy it for the exchange rate. But when you buy it from the mint, you're going to be paying more. So I purchased my physical precious metals from a broker. That way I don't have to pay that extra fee. And transportation is kind of generally included in that. And it's just overall cheaper, but you do have to spend more money because you have to buy larger quantities. Okay. Lane says, no, it's totally cool. My opinion of Crown saying volume doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't to him. I don't know. I know that it really, really matters to me. I know that volume is absolutely essential for me. Yes, very important. Bitcoin millionaire. It's all good, man. Good to see you, brother. So palladium continues to move up. This looks really good. We are getting a take profit long signal from Minx telling us to be out of our positions. Volume is falling below the moving average, but it did so over here, and we continue to rise. RVGI not telling us to get out of the trade yet. It's going to be a little bit more sensitive. So this is an opportunity where you might want to take a little profit off the table. I'm sure you've already hit multiple take profits on the way up. Take a little bit more off the table and move your stop loss up. Excuse me. Looking at silver. Not a really whole lot to do. There was a continuation long here, and you would still be sitting in this trade because this was an absolutely valid continuation long. Had a little bit of drawdown, and now price is up and you're in profit on your next gold or silver trade. Because again, we had a long signal over here that would have been a very nice movement to the upside, hitting your stop loss at break even, I'm sure, after hitting a take profit or two right here, and then you get an opportunity to re-enter right here. All right, so looking at platinum. Platinum continues to just list lazily to the right, and there's not really an opportunity here for platinum. Keep your eyes on it because it might be ready to make its move. Again, most precious metals have been taken off, but platinum is not there yet. Zao to gold, gold to silver. Gold to silver continues to skyrocket. Gold to silver has been one of the best trades lately in precious metals. Looking at Bentley crude, looking at oil. Oil put in a little bit of price appreciation, but just rejecting from the baseline. So there's no long trade here to take. Looking over at commods real quick, corn. Pulling back to the baseline, again, corn was another good trade. Corn and soybeans and nat gas was both pretty good, as was sugar. But it's just that time of the year, honestly, right? We can see them popping off since May. It's just that time of the year when commodities get more expensive, especially corn. Not always the case, but it is something cyclical to pay in mind. Continuation long on corn here, a take profit long here. So not a whole lot to do right now at this moment, except for I would say that keep your eyes open for the next couple days, either for a reversal trade off the baseline or a continuation. Nat gas rejecting from the baseline is a strong short. In fact, throwing up a continuation short on the current daily. Soybeans, again, kind of in the same boat as corn doing very well. Long signal here, and one losing long here. Otherwise, very good short right here and multiple continuation shorts. Overall, soybeans, pretty bullish on them right now. Sugar pulling down to the baseline, actually getting a beautiful reversal trade, tapping the baseline beautifully. I'd be bullish on this as well. West Texas crude is above the baseline and is giving you an opportunity maybe to take a reversal, but really you can't take that because we haven't generated a long signal yet. Keep your eyes open. Texas oil might be ready to make its move. Looking at wheat, same thing. Bullish like soybeans, bullish like corn, pulling back down to the daily baseline. All right, taking a look over at the... I'm not going to take a look at Treasury bonds or notes. Looking at the S&P, CFD on Awanda continues to be quite bullish. We've had a beautiful price appreciation on the S&P CFD since the 5th of June. Price is now pulling back. Got a continuation long on yesterday's candle as well. So again, hold on to that position. In a little bit of drawdown right now. We'll see where price goes in relationship to the baseline. And do I want to look at the Nikea? Do I want to look at the Euro 50? Anyways, if you guys have requests on CFDs, let me know. Okay, getting over to traditional markets. We'll look at the NQ. NQ continues to be along, similar to the S&P 500. These are the E-mini futures now on the CME. Continuation long yesterday, in a little bit of drawdown, but again, just wait for price to make its move. It's still bullish. Same for the S&P. I believe a continuation long was printed on yesterday's candle, and actually you are in profit because price gapped open. Looking at the Dow, the YM, price printed continuation long yesterday, and you are right at break even. Looking at the Russell 1000, long signal that you are still holding on. Actually, no, I'm sorry. You are out of your Russell long trade on the close of this candle right here. So got you out pretty much at the top so far. Looking at VIX today, VIX is about 15.6. So creeping up into danger zone, but not quite there yet. Still great. And gold commodities continue to look absolutely beautiful. So no reason to exit any of your traditional market trades as far as I can see. If you're trading commodities right now, gold still looks great. Or excuse me, if you're trading commodities right now, the gold commodity looks great. Gold commodities looks great. If you have trades in corn or soybeans, those look absolutely fantastic. Sugar looks really good as well. Prices pulling back to the baseline, potentially giving a re-entry opportunity. Now, Bentley crude and West Texas crude look like they might be gearing up for a long trade, so keep your eyes on those as well. Natural gas looks like shite. And all our traditional markets. So if you're trading E-minis, if you're on the NQ, if you're on the SP, if you're on the YM, even if you're on the goddamn Russell 1000, the market looks really good. The market looks really good. It looks bullish. And VIX, again, looks really good today, 15.6, beautiful number, creeping up closer to 16, 17 danger zone, but it's all right. Not there yet. And going to look at some of our major Forex pairs. All right, Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen looks like shite, nothing to do here. In fact, we were in a short trade on Aussie Yen here on this candle. Actually, sorry, we took it here, would have taken it here. And now Minx is telling you to get out of the position, as is Wada Atar. RVGI hasn't really told you to exit yet, profitable position. Aussie dollar. Again, short position that was confirmed on this candle right here. Short position right here that we would have taken and hitting multiple take profits, telling you to be out of the position now. Minx is getting you out. Looking at the CAD Swiss. CAD Swiss actually is printing a continuation long. This might be a beautiful re-entry opportunity with price closing right above the baseline, giving you a very beautiful entry. So look at the CAD Swiss for a long trade. CAD Yen, nothing to do right now. Most likely exiting short positions that might have been put on. Looking at the Swiss Yen, nothing to do. Nothing to do. Most likely hit your stop loss at break even after taking profit down here on this movement to the downside. Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie actually looks quite good. Long signal on the Euro Aussie over here. Price pulling back. You're still in the trade. You're still in the trade. In fact, you had a re-entry opportunity at the baseline. Euro CAD. Euro CAD was a continuation short that you would not have been able to take. So pretty much Euro CAD, look at this. This is a bloodbath. We don't really want anything to do with this. Except there are some good trends here. I'm not going to lie. There are some good trends. This current one, though, this last week has been absolutely terrible, though. So nothing to do on the Euro CAD, and I'm glad. Euro Swissy threw up a short on this candle. Beautiful, right at the baseline, and you are booming in profit right now. Euro Kiwi. Nothing to do on the Euro Kiwi, honestly. Here's a long signal. You got the opportunity to re-enter at the baseline. Price actually did close below, so that's an invalidation and nothing to do until we get another signal. Looking at the Euro Pound. Euro Pound finally pulling back down to the baseline and potentially closing below it. So the Euro Pound bull train might be over, guys. It might be time to get out of that Euro Pound, especially if we close today's candle like this below the baseline. You have to get out of the trade. Euro Yen continues to look pretty like dog crap. Euro Dollar. Euro dollar closing below the baseline, putting on a short position here. Price coming back to break even, still holding the trade open. Pound Kiwi. Pound Kiwi potentially throwing up a long signal on today's candle. Pound CAD. Nothing. Pound Aussie. Threw up a long signal here. Might have a take profit one, most likely an exit, and price moving up. Sometimes it happens, guys. Sometimes it happens. All right. I want to take a look at the dollar Swissy, which is particularly interesting to me. Price closing below the baseline. Nothing to do on this at this moment in time. I want to look at the Kiwi Swissy, which is also something that I've had my eyes on. Getting ready for a trending movement, I think, to the upside, but obviously nothing to do yet. And I want to take a look at the dollar yuan. Dollar yuan did generate a short signal on yesterday's close, and we are right now at break even. Nothing to do. Let price make its move. Just be patient and vigilant and disciplined. All right, guys, so that's Forex. If you guys have any Forex repairs, Jonathan Falcher, man, good to see you. Your wife is on bedtime duty today. I'm a free man. Hopped on the live stream. Bring it on. Good to see you, man. Thank you so much for joining us today, bro. Taurus, good to see you, man. Does anyone here like Zcash? Is it worth it? Zcash is a great, great coin to trade. Oh, no worries, man. No worries, Jonathan. No, I really enjoy your messages, man. Please send as many to me as you possibly can. I was talking about, if you watch the whole show, as I said, I've got about 10 different implementations or improvements to the Advanced Trading Journal and Position Size Calculator. Not really the mathematics of the Position Size Calculator, because the mathematics for that are universal, and that's what I've been using for years. But the way to display data in the Position Size Calculator, I've got lots of fantastic ideas, and yours some of the best. So just incorporating everything in a spreadsheet that works for everybody and is universally user-friendly, that's kind of the challenge that I'm facing, as well as just going through all the ideas and implementations and concepts and suggestions that people have and picking out the right ones. But I'm very, very happy to be working with you on it, man. Thank you so much for your help and your suggestions and your improvements, honestly. Elijah Finch, Raven BTC. Yeah, sure. All right, guys. So it's 12:55. So we have just gone through Bitcoin price analysis and predictions, Ethereum price analysis and predictions. We've gone over CFDs, where we covered everything from the S&P 500 to corn, natural gas, Bentley crude oil, corn, for God's sakes. We went over major Forex pairs, and we went over traditional markets as well. So looking at the NQ, looking at all the E-mini futures, as well as VIX. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to take a deep dive into Libra coin, and we're also going to take your user-submitted requests for chart analysis, guys. So don't go anywhere. If you want to support the show while you're waiting, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you are over there on YouTube, or the follow button if you're over there on Twitch. You can also share us around to your family and friends and people you don't even like, because this information is important, I do believe. And before I leave, if you are tired of getting wicked out of your position on BitMEX and you would like to trade on the exchange where I and the rest of the members of the Premium Trading Group trade, if you guys want an exchange that is secure, that is based in Singapore, which has high and strict financial regulation, as opposed to something like a BitMEX, which is operated and originated in Seychelles, then I recommend that you check out ByBit. So ByBit is the exchange where I trade on. I've fallen absolutely in love with them. Again, they're just an exchange, so I'm not going to sit here and ride them so hard. But again, I really enjoy trading on ByBit. They've got a fantastic roadmap. They've got a lot of great user features. And again, it is the exchange that I trade on, okay? The only reason I recommend it is because I'm sick and tired of all the shenanigans that go over on BitMEX, and I genuinely want to get people onto a better exchange. If you like, you can use our affiliate link, bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com. That will allow you to participate in our trading competition. So if you'd like to participate in the trading competition, sign up at ByBit with our affiliate link, and you can get a hold of me in the Discord with your user ID, and we will add you to the leaderboard, guys. So with that being said, I'll be back in just a few minutes. Get some questions ready and some comments, and get prepared to take a deep dive in the Libra coin, guys. I'll be right back. And we are back and live, guys. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. Okay, so without further ado, let's continue right along. All right, get everything pulled up over here. Now, what you are about to witness. I don't even know how they say it in the movies. What you are about to witness is a recreation. Names have been changed to protect the innocents. Today's crime scene is Libra Coins white paper. So I read this in its entirety last night and finished actually up with the technical papers this morning. And as I am not a technical person, an absence of technical analysis, but when it comes to development, except for PineScript, not necessarily a technical person, I had to reach out to some experts. So I've got everything coming your way right now, guys. So here is their mission statement in simple terms: to create a simple, global, decentralized, low volatility, smart contract enabled cryptocurrency to unbank or to bank the unbanked, essentially. So basically just taking the mission statement of altruistic Bitcoin enthusiasts and applying it to Facebook. And their problem statement is, again, the same as Bitcoin's. As I said, bank the unbanked. 1.7 million adults have no bank account, even though they have a phone, and they are being chewed up by fees, transaction costs, capital control, all things of this nature that apply and plague most individuals in developing countries and countries around the world, where most individuals do not have access to traditional banking solutions to their money. So this entire opening part, their introduction and their problem statement and their opportunity and blah, blah, blah. This is just rah, 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 make the world a better place. And it's, as I said, it's just a ripoff of altruistic Bitcoiners monologues. So one positive thing I would say, but again, we'll come back to this because it will be important later, is that the software is open source. Kind of. We'll get to that later. Bank deposits. So there will be a reserve, obviously, just like with Tether, but unlike Tether, there will be reserves to actually back up one-to-one each Libra coin, but it's not going to be pegged to any fiat currency itself. It's not going to be a pegged stable coin. It's going to be a cryptocurrency that reduces volatility by having a basket of securities to secure the underlying, or to secure the cryptocurrency. So you're going to have, they haven't actually been specific with what exactly these securities are going to be. Their actual wordage is bank deposits and short-term government securities. What that really means is a diversified basket of currencies from central banks around the world that they will use to kind of play against each other and reduce volatility. Now, I'd be very interested to see what kind of, this is all going to be done by the Libra Association Council. We'll get to that in a second as well. But I'd be very interested to see, how do they dictate this? So, for example, we look at Forex. We're going to go back to Forex trading in Q3. So the Forex market is, the opening statement was lifted from the Bitcoin white paper. Make Facebook great again. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. So the Forex markets are volatile, all right? You can have 1 to 5 to 10% movements one way or the other. And we know that the Forex markets are run and manipulated by the big banks. We know this for a fact, right? So how are they going to diversify, and how are they going to regularly update their basket of currencies? Now, I don't actually think this is going to be a huge issue. They're probably going to end up employing market analysis. They're probably going to have like some kind of algorithmic rule at which they, onboard to diversify. But just keep that in mind. Facebook's problem of not pegging their currency to something like the United States dollar, for example, which, by the way, this has implications as we move further on, because what this really is a Trojan horse to create a one world currency. But we'll get to that in a second. Otherwise, they just peg it to the United States dollar. But they already know the people who are involved with Facebook want to unpeg the world currency from the United States dollar, which is something that is slowly happening before our very eyes. And make no doubt, most likely your children or your grandchildren will not live in a world in which the United States dollar is the world reserve currency as it is right now. That facade is crumbling around us as we speak, which is why I speak so frequently and importantly upon the necessity of diversifying your portfolio for your investments and protecting yourself against future volatility and capital problems. Now, cash is king. When global markets come into turmoil, individuals move into precious metals, individuals move into cash. But what is cash? If your only cash is United States dollars, and the United States dollar has a significant likelihood to devalue, then it would be in your best interest to do what Facebook is doing here and hold a basket of foreign currencies. This is not hard to do. You can get your hands on some Chinese yuan. You can get your hands on some Russian rubles. You can get your hands on some Turkish liras or Indian rupees, whatever you want to. It's pretty easy. You just go buy it like you would buy it to go on a vacation, throw it in your safety deposit box. All right? So, this is the SDR Plan 2.0 coming in with the IMF conspiracy theories. We'll get to that too. All right, but I just want to point that out because by not pegging their Libra to the dollar, to the United States dollar, they have essentially what they've tossed under the rug here, and this is why I am going to harp on this as a trader in the currency markets, is what is their solution? How are they going to balance their risk? How are they going to balance that low volatility? They're going to have to offload certain fiat currencies and onload other fiat currencies to account for volatility. They're going to have to do this on a regular basis if they're going to want to keep their currency at a stable level of low volatility. Otherwise, it's going to fluctuate over time. And if it's more than one standard deviation of fluctuation, you could say, then that is going to be unattractive to certain investors, especially institutional investors. And it's also going to be going against their mission statement in the first place. So they already have a problem at the outset with doing it in this way. And I think it is solvable, but I'd be very curious to see how they're going to do it, because basically they're going to say, well, basically what we're going to do is we're going to develop enhanced algorithms that professional prop firms and quantitative analysts and quantitative shops use to manage trillions of the world's money against foreign currencies. We're just going to implement that as like a default baseline. So they are sweeping under the rug the problems or the difficulty of what it takes in the first place to design a system like that. They're going to have some kind of automated algorithmic structure that is going to have to be developed to some kind of par or better than professional quantitative analysts and professional quantitative money management and asset management firms out there, right? This is proprietary knowledge that individuals, I've said this many, many times before, who are the highest paid analysts in the financial sector? Quants. Quantitative analysts are. Quants absolutely run the game. They develop risk models. They develop algorithmic structures that actually do all this automatically. And so Facebook already has to design something like that at the outset. If it's not very good, it's not going to be very good for Libra. If it's really, really good, then that comes there's problems with that as well. So the difficulty there is designing that in the first step. So anyways, now they're going to have their own Ethereum foundation, all right? And this is called the Libra Council, all right? The Libra Association Council. And this is going to be one representative from each corporation who is acting as a validator, and they are going to provide, in their own words, a framework for governance, okay? That means govern the network. There's no framework, okay? The Ethereum Foundation runs Ethereum. The Libra Association Council will run Libra, okay? There's no framework, right? There's just governing. There's just centralized authority. Doesn't matter if you spread it out to 10 people. If you have 10 people, if you have 100 people that can ultimately make the final decisions and everybody does not have the free and equal opportunity to participate in that decision-making process, that's a centralized structure. And just a different term, just a different scale. Let's see. And another mission statement of the Association Council, so let's keep scrolling down here. This is the Libra blockchain. We'll get to this in a second. The Libra Currency and Reserve, the Libra Association, in their own words, the association is going to provide a framework for governance and lead social impact grant making. These are their words, in support of financial inclusion. Inclusion, so let's break that down. What does that mean? That means they are going to be petitioning governments, right, especially developing governments, because Facebook or Calibra has already come out and said that, and they say it in this white paper, that they are going to be targeting developing nations that do not have reliable central banking, or that have central banking with a track record of horribly devaluing the currency and not maintaining their country's currency. So these are the markets that they're targeting. We've known this for a while. I've talked about this for a long time. Why am I bullish, for example, on India, fastest growing economy in the world? Why am I bullish on China, who has caught up economically with the United States? Because these are the areas that the major technology companies like Facebook and Google are targeting, because India, for example, is the country that is coming online the fastest in the world. And Facebook, Google, Amazon, they're all eager there, pushing their products in the faces of all these new potential customers who are coming online. Who are they going to target? Concurrently, as well as that, they're going to be targeting other nations that are coming online as well. Yes, come in, use Libra Coin, use Amazon, use Google. Here, push it in their face. Every company wants new businesses. By the way, Hans von der Linde, thank you so much for the subscription over there on YouTube. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Perhaps it was Hans von der Linde, if that is more closely. If it's not, okay, I forgive myself. So, we just have to look at what technological companies are already doing. They're already targeting developing nations because that is the new blood they've already tapped into, and they're already pulling all the money out of the pockets of Americans and Europeans and Canadians and all over the place. So they're going to be targeting developing nations that are now going to be coming online, and they're going to be utilizing this Libra coin as kind of the facilitation payment, as the go-between to facilitate that better. So the Association Council is going to govern the network, no framework. And they're going to petition governments in developing nations to accept and use their currency. And if this becomes fairly large, if this becomes fairly big, you significantly have a big brother issue. Just like the IMF. Yeah, sure. No, you can participate in the global economy. Yeah, 100% if you use our currency. Wait, what? That's the problem with centralized control. So, Facebook will have a leadership role throughout 2019, and then according to them, they will step down, not really step down, but they will have the same privileges as all other members. Okay, so Facebook itself as an entity does not have some magical control over the Libra Association, which, by the way, is a independent, not-for-profit agency founded in Geneva, Switzerland, okay? And they throw some of that stuff in there as well, which this is just true. Switzerland is renowned for its global neutrality. And again, one of the currencies that I'm very bullish on as well, or that I think is one of the most stable currencies in the world, is the Swiss franc, just to hold in and of itself. So you guys got that one for free. But Facebook has set up a subsidiary company called Calibra, which is not it's not a separate entity. It is a subsidiary of Facebook. It's called Calibra. And here is the point. Calibra was designed, according to Facebook, to maintain separation of social and financial data. Okay, all right. Lasers with frickin' sharks with frickin' lasers on their heads, right? Now, here's the problem. Are they kidding here? Because Calibra is going to be in charge of we'll get to this in a second. Calibra is going to be in charge of wallets, okay? So, there's so many problems here. They are going to start so the blockchain, the Libra blockchain, is going to start as a permissioned blockchain, meaning the right to be a validator or a node on the network has to be granted. You cannot just participate in the network, unlike Bitcoin, whereas if you fire up an ASIC or you just fire up some old CPU, you are now a node on the network and a validator. You are participating in Byzantine fault tolerance. Now, they state the reason for this is that they do not believe, the reason why they're starting permissioned and not permissionless, is because they do not believe there is a proven solution to deliver scale and stability in a permissionless system. What? Have they not heard of Bitcoin? Like, Bitcoin did this from day one. The reason Libra knows that they probably won't have a lot of success doing this, even though they know that it is a successful model. It is a successful model, but you couldn't, I'll give them the benefit here. You could make the argument that the only reason that Bitcoin was able to do that is because for years it was largely ignored while it grew as a permissionless system to scale and to security to secure and provide the stability for the network that we now know today. And now Bitcoin network is pretty much unstoppable. Because it's so decentralized and so spread out. I don't care people are like, oh my God, Bitcoin mining in China. Shut the fuck up. You don't understand what you're talking about if that even comes out of your mouth. All right. It's just not the way it works. Okay. So sorry. A little passionate about that because I hear that so often, man. And usually from people who don't understand anything about Bitcoin fundamentals. They're like, oh my God, mining is centralized in China. No, it's not. Shut up, dude. Really, shut up. Sorry about that. Moving on. So their ambition is to one day make Libra permissionless. If you have a switch, so let's talk about that. They're saying that the blockchain is going to be starting permissioned, meaning you have to get fiat authority. You have to be granted access to be a validator on the node from the Libra Association Council. But in the future, their ambition is to make it permissionless, meaning that anybody can just participate as a node on the network. Okay. If you have a switch that you can just shut off, then you have a switch that you can just turn back on, okay? So either something starts as permissionless from the outset and you build a structure and community around that, or you start off permissioned from the get-go and it stays permissioned forever. Look at the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin started permissionless. Ethereum is permissioned. Not to the degree that Libra coin will be, but the Ethereum Foundation still runs things. Okay. So they have got. Okay, and also I just want to make this clarification. So that whole, yeah, man, we're going to start off permission, but we're totally going to switch to permissionless later on, man. Like, yeah, we're going to take on this authority and power right now, but like later on, we're totally going to give the power and authority back to the people. No problem, man. Like, I, Emperor Chancellor Palpatine, will accept these emergency powers in the short term, but I promise once the crisis is over and we've defeated the separatists, I will absolutely give power back to the people. Really? We've heard this before? How many emperors, how many dictators? Look at what happened in Venezuela, right? Look at what happened in Venezuela, for example, right? In 50 years later, we're being governed on high by their children. All right, we'll be permissionless later. We absolutely swear. Just don't worry about it right now, but just use the coin, and later on we'll flip the switch, man. No problems. We'll give up the control, especially on a currency that we want to be the global reserve currency for the love of God. Now we're going to totally give that control over. Right. Okay. So either you start permissionless from the outset, or you stay permissioned forever. That's just the way that works. Those in centralized power never, ever, ever, ever throughout human history have ever voluntarily given up their power. It has almost always taken a revolution, and almost always a violent revolution. Period. Okay. It's just the way that it works, guys. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when you give financial authority into the individuals. AK11MK, thank you so much, man, for the host on your channel, brother. Thank you so much. Highly appreciated, man. Thank you so much for the raid, my good man. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Twitch network. Hold on. Let me. Sorry, just forgot my point of thought there. Yeah. So, dictators, central authorities never give up their power voluntarily. They always say they will, and then we always have to charge into their throne room and stab them in the face with a bayonet. That's just the way that it works throughout history, man. Let's see here. So they have a new programming language called Move, okay? And this is designed, the way that it's designed, they say programmatically, is to prevent asset cloning. It constrains digital assets to the same restrictions of physical assets, for example. So something can only have a single owner. It cannot be double spent, and you can't just make new digital assets out of nothing. It also facilitates automatic proofs by default. Now, I'm not a developer, so I'm going to get an expert on the show to touch on these concepts. I really want to know the truth beyond the noise, which is the purpose of this show. So just as with permissioned, Okay, so just as with permissioned versus permissionless blockchains, the ability to develop open source contracts or decentralized applications on Libra will not come that way out of the gate. It's going to be permissioned. So you're going to have to get, again, permission from the Libra Association Council to develop dApps or to develop applications at all on their blockchain. Let's see here. And again, their goal is to allow developers to release contracts over time, to release smart contracts and to release decentralized applications over time. Same thing. They will allow you to release decentralized applications and smart contracts if you are in lockstep with what Libra wants. There's no other way this is going to work. They're going to give lip service. There's going to be like some edgy stuff on there. There's going to be certain things that you can develop. But anybody who wants to significantly make something that changes the game, if it's not in line with what Libra wants, it's not going to get developed. Now, they have their own Byzantine fault tolerance algorithm called Libra BFT. This is not a big surprise. Many cryptocurrencies have their own implementation of Byzantine fault tolerance. Again, I don't know of anyone that works better than proof of work. I don't believe in proof of stake. I don't think that many of the Byzantine fault tolerance systems actually stand up to par. And there's lots and lots and lots of data from developers out there to actually support this. But again, this is a controversial topic. But again, I stand behind proof of work. Now, let's talk about this a little bit, because it's not actually a blockchain, and we'll get into what Jameson Lop's comments are here in just a little bit. It's not actually a blockchain. It is a flowing data source state. So it's a central state, right? So it's not actually a blockchain, because blocks of transactions are not locked in and then connected over time. It's just one continuous data state, right, that constantly updates over time. So like Bitcoin, the Libra blockchain is, according to them, pseudonymous, which means a user's wallet address will not be linked to your real-world identity on the blockchain itself, default. You're not going to have to do KYC AML to have a wallet address. According to them, that's the way that it sounds. However, we will see what the process of creating a wallet is. If you can only create a wallet through a specific web application where you need to do KYC AML to create the wallet in the first place, or be logged into a Facebook account, for example, or be logged into an account on the website, or on the wallet generating website application, then they already have your information. They've got your IP address, they've got your browser size, they've got the browser that you're using, they've got your browser data. If you're foolish enough to log in using your real identity, or if you're using your regular desktop computer that you use for your regular stuff, they're going to have all your information. So really, guys, the percent of people who take privacy seriously compared to the mass of society who do not take privacy seriously, it's not going to matter. The small percentage of crypto enthusiasts and anarchists and people out there who actually take their data and security seriously, are not going to make a dent, in the mass flood of individuals that are just going to be like, oh, how do I get a Libra coin wallet? I just go to calibra.org and sign in with my Facebook account and click create. All right, awesome. I'm going to go over here and buy some drugs on the dark net. It's just not going to, that's the problem, man. Like, I know, and I'm passionate about security too, but the reality is that there's just not enough of us to without a huge movement, or without a huge change in the way things are. But the reality of individuals just don't take their privacy seriously. They're going to log in using their real name. They're going to it's an XLM document on Facebook. Maybe at this point in time, man. And again, this is what Calibra was created for. So Calibra, subsidiary of Facebook Coin, is designed to handle wallets for forever. There was no time limit on that. They didn't say Calibra will step down after 5 years. They said Calibra will basically be in charge of wallets. So you're going to have to go to Calibra, most likely, to a website and log in with an account, create an account, probably do KYC AML, and boom. So the entire idea so if you can create wallets on your desktop, just like you can with Bitcoin, if you can create a wallet on a piece of paper, for example, then cool, no problem. We can have pseudonymous Libra. But if you have to go to Calibra or any other website that is somehow centrally controlled to sign up for a wallet, then that's just the entire idea that it's pseudonymous is right out the bag. They're going to have all your data and all your information. And while it will be possible, if you do take your privacy serious, to most likely bypass those systems or spoof them to some degree, the reality is that it's not going to make a dent, right? So you'll be able to go over to Silk Road 3.0 and buy some shrooms, or sponsor whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. But the data and information that they're going to get by knowing everybody's personal financial data, for the most part, is going to be irrelevant. Now, okay, so the reserves will be a basket of central bank issued currencies and bank deposits. Interest on the reserves will pay dividends to their initial investors, as well as ensure low transaction fees and maintenance the network. All right, so maintenance the network in general, meaning most likely pay developers, meaning, I doubt they're going to subsidize transaction fees. I think they would have a structural problem if they need to subsidize transaction fees. I've never heard of any company or project that's done that with cryptocurrency. But again, that's literally in their white paper. That is a direct quote from their white paper right there. Let's see here. Libra users will not receive returns on the reserves. So when I say they will be used to pay dividends to initial investors, I'm talking about the initial validators. So those are going to be known as the founding members, and each of them have to pony up $10 million. So over time, whatever the interest on the reserves will be, because remember, however large the market cap of Libra coin grows, all that is going to be held in reserve, and that money is going to be invested. That money is going to generate dividends, is going to generate interest that is going to be paid out as dividends to all the initial investors. So there is a large financial incentive for Stripe, Visa, MasterCard, Uber, Lyft, Andreessen Horowitz, all of them to get involved in the founding of what could be the next frickin' world reserve currency, man. Okay. The Libra Association Council is comprised of one representative from each validator node. They are responsible for making decisions about governance and the reserve. They are the only individuals that can mint or create or destroy coins. They can only mint coins when somebody buys new Libra in exchange for fiat. They can only destroy coins when somebody exchanges existing Libra for reserve currency. So when they cash in reserve currency, for example. Meaning, The Libra Association Council do not have all the powers of a central bank. They cannot print money out of thin air. However, neither can the Federal Reserve technically. So, for example, the Federal Reserve can only inject capital into circulation when the U.S. government exchanges Treasury notes for Federal Reserve notes. Now, in process, in reality, the system is automated. I don't see how Libra will be any different from any other centralized entity. Their other justification as to why this is necessary is, as with any startup, in the early years, and I know this from being an entrepreneur as well, so this is technically valid. In the early years, you need leaders who will work hard to spur adoption, raise capital, design incentives to use the network, and petition governments, i.e. grant making. Now, that's all valid from your regular business standpoint, but that completely ignores and bypasses the revolution of Bitcoin in the first place, which did everything that it has done up to this point in time with none of that stuff. With none of that. With no leaders. So, now, how to get involved, guys. If you guys would like to get involved with the Libra project, well, guess what? They're going to be hiring a managing director. So if you want to be the Antichrist, basically, if you want to be the leader of the new age, then you can apply for their managing director. And they're also going to need employees on their social impact advisory board. Now, let's think about those words for just a second. You heard me right. They are going to have it's right here. They're going to have a social impact advisory board, which means they're going to have a board of individual humans who are going to be looking at the social impact of activities on the blockchain and making this. Oh my God. Our recent post has breached community guidelines. Our Libra wallet has been suspended for 3 days. That's the future, guys. That's the future right there. So, you are going to have a board of human beings. You're going to have a board of human beings who are going to be able to, I guess, dictate what transactions are okay or not okay, or what is said, what's the social impact, and make decisions based off of that. What decisions? What are they going to be able to do? Okay. So I'm going to have I'm going to get an expert in design to get on here and talk about actually what's the word I'm looking for? To actually talk about the technicals of the blockchain and everything, for example. But we do have some good comments that I want to go over here. So after this article, I want to go over and talk about, let's see here. Nope, this one right here. So we're going to start off with Mr. Tom Luongo, and I'm quite a fan of Tom Luongo, so this comes from Gold, Goats, and Guns. So he is calling the Facebook coin a crypto Trojan rabbit. So let's talk about this. So he says that a Libra coin, of course, is going to be run by a centralized authority. Now, this will help developing countries because central banks of those countries are historically terrible at maintaining the value of their currency. We know this over time. For example, Venezuela is a terrific example. Now, because centralized authorities are by nature bad at what they do, because centralized authorities are terrible in the long run of maintaining value, especially when they get control of a country's currency, and we just know this throughout time. Every single centralized central bank has always devalued their currency, have always debased the currency, and whatever country that we're talking about that implements a central bank always goes down in ruin. Just study your history. The fact that we haven't in the last couple hundred years is no different. And again, the Federal Reserve Bank has only been instituted since the early 1900s, 1913, I do believe. So, because they're terrible at maintaining value in the first place, any centralized authority that has control of a currency reserve is going to run into the same problems, i.e. Libra. There's no way that Libra can avoid these problems because they're already going the route of centralization. They're not going to be able to sidestep and solve with the technology that they're talking about the psychological and social issues that mankind has faced for forever because they are the debilitating aspects of investing power in a centralized institution over the lifeblood of any nation, which is its money supply. So, however, even though they're going to run into the same problems, they're not worried about this because, according to Mr. Tom Luongo, this is a step towards a one world currency. So the previous plan, before Bitcoin came along, was to respond to a national currency crisis with a global reserve currency backed by the IMF, the SRD. However, Bitcoin was created However, Bitcoin threw a wrench in the plan, so the solution now is to hijack the new technology that put a spur in their plan in the first place, i.e., let's do Libra coin. So we have to remember that Bitcoin was created in response to government ineptitude and central bank malfeasance in the first place. Okay, that's why Bitcoin was created. It was created. The key issue here is having a currency whose issuance is not subject to human whims or human error, i.e., malfeasance. So this minimizes. So when we have a system that works like that, like Bitcoin, it minimizes central authority, it minimizes rent-seeking behavior, and it minimizes counterfeiting, which again is that debasement of the currency that we've seen throughout human history. So having a central authority maintains the profit incentives for governments to continue business as usual, rent-seeking behavior, debasing the currency, and this is exactly what we are going to see with Libra. So we are in a period right now in mankind's history of declining faith in institutions. And for the first time in recent history, individuals' perceptions of what a good store of value is no longer government fiat currency, but things with intrinsic value like gold, commodities, or Bitcoin, right? So individuals are starting to wake up to the fact that government-issued currencies are not stores of value. They're not good stores of value, right? Even though they have been, they are not going to continue to be. So individuals are looking for things with intrinsic value that actually serve as a better medium of exchange or a better store of value, i.e. gold, commodities, and Bitcoin. So I highly recommend you guys go check this article out. The link to this article will be in the full show notes, which will be posted after the show. And finishing up today's news on Libra coin is going to be from over at CCN. And this is by Ben Brown. So a very expensive failure. Blockchain experts slam Facebook's Libra cryptocurrency. And the reason that I pulled up this particular article is because of the statements from Bitcoin developers and experts in code, Tamis Bloomer and Jameson Lopp. Okay, you guys know I'm a pretty big fan of Jameson Lopp. If you guys aren't familiar with Jameson Lopp, he's the guy that used Bitcoin to get off the grid. It's actually a fantastic blog. You guys can go read that. So, coming to Tamis Bloomer, he says that Facebook is abusing its position to muscle into blockchain. They are trying to buy leadership in cutting-edge technology, an expensive effort that he claims will fail. And then he goes on to say, and this is really what I want to focus on, Libra has more in common with Ethereum than Bitcoin. Sharding, practical Byzantine fault tolerance. Indeed, he says it may even kill Ethereum and Ripple because it seems like it's going to do what Ethereum and Ripple want to do better. He says, however, though, it contains all the elements that make Ethereum garbage in the first place. Their account model, their generic language, the idea of gas, on-chain scaling with sharding, Byzantine fault-tolerant consensus that is not proof of work, in addition to KYC and AML requirements. And he ends this with saying that it is a sure disaster in slow motion. Coming over to Jameson Lopp. Mr. Jameson Lopp is saying that from a data structure perspective, Libra is more like Ethereum or Ripple than Bitcoin. So you guys can go check out his lengthy, it's a pretty harsh Medium post about Libra coin. So he goes on to say that it sounds like Facebook has not solved any of the massive problems that Ethereum has been working on for years. And this is something where I've been very critical on Ethereum as well. The protocol is proficient and impressive, he says, but not a blockchain. And again, we went over that earlier. It's not a blockchain, right? It's not blocks separated and linked in a chain. It is a continuous data source that is regularly updated. Now, Libra states that that's going to make it easier for developers to work with, but it doesn't make it a blockchain because you lose some of the security functions of having data stored in blocks that way. So, and of course, my main man, shout out to Mr. Andreas Antonopoulos, comes in and puts the nail in this coffin by saying that, guys, doesn't qualify as a real cryptocurrency. So, you guys heard it from the source. Mr. Andreas himself says it's not a blockchain, which it's not, and it's not a cryptocurrency. So, I think this case is closed, guys. Let me know your thoughts. And again, I don't claim to have all the answers, but I'd be really excited to know what your guys' thoughts on this are. I know this is a very controversial topic. There are some people who think it's going to make them rich, although I don't see why that. There are some people who think this is going to, that this is People just think that this is the devil. So what are your thoughts and opinions? Please let me know in the chat. And more importantly, please leave your comment in the comment section down below or come into the Discord at discord.crackencryptocurrency.com and we will keep the conversation going. It's 1:37, so we do have about 23 minutes left before we do have to enter the show. And I do want to get to our requests. So with that being said, we're going to get into our requests here. All right. And before we get into the requests, I just want to point out, guys, as we're moving into the request, we often get a lot of people in here every single day who are asking me to look at charts, and I absolutely love doing that for you guys. But we get a lot of questions about how do I actually put all these trades on, for example, for those who are familiar with the system. Now, all the guys in the premium group know that we use 3 commas, right? So we trade on Binance. We're going to be switching over potentially from Binance when they close services to U.S. customers in September. That's when Binance US is going to launch, but I don't think they're going to have the liquidity. I don't think they're going to have the selections of coins on there and tokens that we want to trade. So meaning that we're already having to look at things like Wally Pro, previously known as HBUS, the exchange formerly known as HBUS. And we were already agreed to be adding Coinbase pairs to our trading as well. So I think we're going to see enhanced volatility and enhanced volume on exchanges like Wally Pro, which is available to U.S. customers, and on Coinbase Pro. However, the tool that I use and that I will use on those exchanges as well is 3 commas, right? 3 commas allows me to set a take profit and stop loss simultaneously. On Binance, where I cannot, it allows me to set a trailing buy. It allows me to set a trailing take profit. It allows me to set a trailing stop loss. It also allows me to use my proprietary indicators, which you can as well if you're a member of the premium group, to set up automated trading strategies as well as keep track of all my accounts at a pretty quick, easy glance. If you guys want to use the tools that we use, you guys can use our link, it's 3 commas .crackencryptocurrency.com will take you to our sign up page. You will get a free trial if you guys want to use our link. Again, that's 3 commas .crackencryptocurrency.com. Now, getting into the requests, guys, we do have Basic Attention Token USDT and Raven BTC, one coming from Texas Blues and one coming from the Finch Meister himself. So if you guys have any charts that you'd like us to look at, let me know. Battle of the Ages, Bitcoin versus Libra. I don't think so. All right, so BAT USDT, full disclosure, this is a position that I have. All right, so let's go. Is Libra mineable? No, absolutely not, jumpers. 100% not. No, the Libra Association is in full control of its minting and burning. Okay, so Wayne Tech asks, let's see here. Just a second. I think we're going to do this. So Wayne Tech asks, can you give an example of what figures you use to set up your trail percentage on a buy? You sent it to me the other day, but got confused on it. All right, let's see here. Okay, so trail percentage on a buy. A really good figure to use is ATR percentage. So in Quadriga ATR, we can, let's see here. Jumpers11, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch, my good friend. Thank you so much for joining the Cracking Cryptocurrency community over there, my good friend. So a really good value to use is the ATR percentage, which Quadriga ATR tells you right here. And then you can update that every day if you want, based on how volatility actually changes, because you will be keeping. Now, another thing that you can also do is you can actually set that slightly higher. So for example, remember that average true range is the average volatility over whatever period you're averaging out. So if you use average volatility, or anything within average volatility, then you have a higher risk of your stop or whatever your whether it's a take profit or whether it's a stop loss of that level getting hit, because you're within the average range of volatility. If you are outside of the average range of volatility, then the likelihood that that's going to get hit decreases. Now, it doesn't mean it won't, because if something takes a dive, it's going to take a dive. But it just means that you are setting your stop loss out of the average range of volatility, okay? So you can use that number, or again, I think that depending on what the trade is, sometimes you just use your best judgment and go like 1 to 5%. But the ATR allows you to be very objective with how you actually set your trails. Jonathan Fulcher asks, can I have your opinion on TD Sequential? Of course. Hardlight1234, again, man, thank you so much for following us over there on Twitch, my good friend. Welcome to the community. Could we use TD Sequential as a tertiary indicator? I could see how you could use multiple components from TD Sequential as a confirmation indicator. Yeah. You could actually probably use it as a secondary indicator, to be quite honest with you, and not a tertiary indicator. Now, it could be, I'm thinking, it could be different. For example, if you're printing a green number on TD Sequential, that could be your confirmation. If you're printing a red number, that could be a disqualification. If you are, where is price in relation to TDST support and resistance? That could be one as well. Where are you in a count? Where are you in a setup? Those could all be actual elements that are leading in. And again, you could make TD Sequential your primary entry indicator if you wanted. You could make it your initiator. And then you could use something like Minx or something like Lawada Tar as your confirmation indicator. So yeah. Randy Omega says, hey, I tried 3 commas, but I saw that you need to give them your API key. What do you think about security and is it safe? What do you think? Thanks in advance. Hey, no problem, man. Thank you for the question. So this comes up a lot, and if you feel uncomfortable with allowing 3 commas to access your API, that's totally fine. I'll never pressure you into doing that. I do, and I probably have more capital than most people watching the show. And again, I don't say that to brag. I'm just letting you know where I'm coming from. 3 commas, in my estimation, as long as I've been using them, has never run into any security issues. I had funds on Binance when Binance just got hacked. It wasn't targeted, even though my account would have been one that should be targeted. And again, another thing too is I think that I'm just kind of a psycho about security. So every account that I have is on a different email address. So for those of you guys watching the show that wish me ill, if you're able to get into my email address for my YouTube account, you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get anything. I set up different accounts on dedicated computers. I use different passwords for everything. I have 2-factor authentication on both every single email account, as well as on every single exchange, as well as on 3 commas, for example. And I just go through all the security protocols. I use a VPN. I don't leak my IP anywhere. When I actually trade, I do all my trading on dedicated computers. Like, for example, my streaming computer that I do, my charting and that I stream from and everything. I do know there's no crypto has ever touched this computer, nor will any crypto ever will. And that's just me. I think the crypto should be done on a separate system. So I don't think that I don't understand how individuals are getting fleeced. I think that the majority of individuals just don't have good security settings. But again, that's a personal decision. If you don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine. I've never, ever had a problem with giving either Coinigy or 3 commas my trading API. Never had an issue. Because I don't use jank programs. If you use jank programs, you're going to run into problems. 3 commas is not a jank program. Thank you so much for making the clip, Jumpers11. Highly appreciated. Oh, when song? Oh, hey, man, you're right. Let's do this one. This is a good tune. Okay. What's my opinion on TD Sequential as a tertiary indicator to help identify potential reversals? I think TDST support and resistance works really, really well. Heard the rollout for Cardano Shelly will be Friday. Do I think it will moon? Could. honestly, I'm not going to lie. I don't really know a whole lot about Shelly's, Cardano Shelly. Could be great, could be bad. I'll let you know when I see the chart. And again, in crypto, man, it's kind of one of those things where just like we've talked about with IEOs, I mean, grab a bag, man. You know, if you've got risk capital, if you've got a portion of your portfolio, like 1 to 3% of your portfolio that you're like, well, if I lose it, I lose it. And that's generally how you should feel. Then throw it in there, man. Worst case that's going to happen is you lose 1 to 3% of your account. So it's just a regular trade. Euro Swissy, Andrew Munn says I'm getting sell on the daily from my baseline at 3 confirms. What you think? Sure, man. Let's take a gander. But first, did you say Euro Swissy? Sorry, Euro CHF? Okay, let me take a look, man. Okay, so let's get into BAT USDT here, guys. So I entered BAT USDT on the close of this candle on the 16th. Haven't hit a take profit yet. Haven't hit a stop loss yet. Price is above the baseline. Price looks good. In my opinion, this is not a re-entry. Why? Because I don't like to just say, well, if it's in within this range, we can continue to enter. No, I like to enter when the moment is right. We had a nice big volume spike on this candle. Typically, that does see follow through. We did see a little bit of follow through, but fairly unimpressive movement. Now price is pulling back. If price closes below the baseline, this will be a losing trade. If RVGI kicks me out of the trade, it'll be a losing trade. But Minx is not yet getting me out either because we did have pretty good momentum to the upside, as we can see Wadatar confirmed on this candle as well. And Wadatar hasn't told me to get out yet. So I would say that entry right now would not be terrible, but it's not something that I would do because, again, I enter at the baseline or on a continuation long, and we don't have either of those things. So again, this is just one situation where, to me, myself, looking at this, if I didn't enter here and I didn't have a limit buy here and I'm looking at price right now, I'm like, nope, moving on. I missed it. This isn't my trade. This is just not my trade. But it wouldn't be the worst possible thing that you could do. I mean, you're still roughly basically there. But again, I don't take just basically roughly trades. I take very specific setups. So I definitely won't chide you if you hop into BAT, Texas. Because we're basically right there at entry. It's just the entry conditions are slightly different. But that's my opinion. That's my personal opinion. If you do enter the trade, you're going to have lower take profits. Actually, yeah, right about the same, to be quite honest with you, man. 36, 6, 388, and 41. 41 cents, man. Best of luck to you, my brother. Thank you, Realty. Highly appreciated, man. Rudy LaPlane says, jank program, spoken like a true old school tech. Thank you. Okay, moving on from BAT USDT. And Raven BTC for Elijah. Let's check it out, brother. So Raven BTC, man, again, Raven BTC was a good movement. We got the long signal over here. It's a trade we took, but here's the thing. Price is below the baseline. Actually threw up a short on this candle right here, which if you could short Raven would have been a good little trade. You probably would have nabbed 1, if not 2 take profits, especially with this wick right here. And price is now consolidating below the baseline, getting a nice little ramp up to touch the baseline, but so far wicking off of it, man. You just can't enter trades based off of this. It looks okay, but it's something to put on your watch list as, hey, man, maybe this is gearing up. If we take a look, RVGI is about to cross over. The green line is about to cross over the red line, meaning that it's telling you to get out of your short. And this is a reversal indicator, so this is telling you that price might be going long, but it's not giving the signal yet. Let the pawns go first and take the initial stab up to the baseline. Typically, this happens a few times, and then when we close above the baseline, then we can, on some good volume and good confirmation, then we can have another up thrust. So far, Raven BTC is one I would be staying out of at this point in time. Minx is curling up towards the baseline. Seems like we did bottom here. Wadatar's bearish momentum is declining, printing bars below. Again, Wadatar giving you an early exit on a short position today as well. As Minx gave you one on the close of yesterday's candle, telling you to be out of your short that you would have put on here. And overall, this is good, man. So it's switching trend, but we're not there yet. We need consolidation, and we need to see some bullish volume. Thank you, Nominus. Highly appreciated, man.
say I'm kinda proud. I got my dancing shoes on, and I'm feeling dangerous. Let's get this party started. Yeah, we gon' be adventurous. We went to the club like we are.
Check out Charles Hoskinson on Twitter. He out signing MOU all over the place. From what he says, Shelly would be out. What do you mean? What's MOU? I probably feel like I'm probably being silly here, but I don't know what MOU is, Caribbean Crypto. No, Elijah, you're not a pawn, brother. I mean, congratulations to you if you captured a good trade. All right. All right, Scott wants to review the Lend trade. So, okay, so here's Lend, guys. This was one of our more successful positions that we just put on in the trading group. AAV, or was it it's AVE or Lend BTC again. Fundamentals don't matter, but it was a good coin to trade. As you can see, we got a long signal here on the 16th of June, 2019. So we held this coin open. I think average entry of around 119. Maybe it was 120. I can't remember right off the top of my head. Let's go check the trading journal. $119 average entry into 119. Yesterday held it open through some drawdown. As we can see, Minx did not go back into noise. Wadatar didn't give us an early exit, and neither did RVGI. RVGI did not tell us to exit. As we can see, we get to wake up to this. And this is just, listen, you never know when things like this are going to happen. This nice 42% pump on our position. But here's the thing. When you're on the right side of the market, good things just naturally happen, guys. This is just the way that PTP works, right? You're going to get good trades, you're going to get small wins, small losses, and then you're going to catch big wins, and that's the point. That's what really ends up putting the money in your books. And you never know in advance which coin is going to do that. This is crypto. You never know which coin is going to do that pump as opposed to the other coin, for example. So that's why you have to enter every signal your trade gives you. If you try to pick and choose, as you know, and it's okay to pick and choose if you are picking and choosing systematically with a system that you've tested. So, for example, we have secondary and tertiary indicators. We throw these on to say, okay, not only do we have to give an indication over here, but also here and here. All these things need to be true, and we take the trade. If all those things are true, there's no point in you wiffle waffling or sitting there and wondering like, well, yeah, but if I look at support and resistance and let's go over to Twitter and what if none of that stuff helps. None of that stuff helps. There is not an iota of extra analysis that you are going to be able to do beyond your system to give you any reliable certainty that a coin is going to hit your take profit or your stop loss first. It's just, the market distributes wins and losses randomly. All right. Monte Carlo is your friend, right? So Monte Carlo simulation backtesting is your friend. You have to approach the markets like a computer, man, like a quant. Approach the markets like a quant, and you win. If you just look at any serious professional trader or quant shop, they look at the market in terms of probabilities and statistics, and when you're on the right side of the market, beautiful things happen. So congratulations to everybody that took this trade. Big shout out to Scott and Alex for making this call while I was on vacation, so you guys are absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. You killed it. All right. Oh, this is a little bit of a weird song, isn't it? I like it, you know, but you guys might not like it. This is Bonnie Grace. All right, Lend BTC analysis and Euro Swissy, and then I think it's about time to do the thing, brother. Euro Swissy for me was a short back here on the 16th, Andrew. And the Euro Swissy was one we looked over earlier. So this was a Euro Swissy short, currently up about 40 pips from the entry of that. Actually, sorry, no, more. I think it's what, 45 pips? About 48 pips, my bad, 48 pips. Now, this is not a trade I'd enter into right now. And I think that if you're just now getting a short signal, I think you need to tweak your sensitivity, brother. I'm not saying your system's bad. Again, it could just not caught this one very well, and it does very well on others. But looking the way that looking at this black line is a qualifying line. So if price is below this black line, we're not allowed to take a trade. So I would say that this is too far below the baseline for me to take a trade, man. It's already made its big move. Now, what you can do is if you're just now getting a short signal on your indicator. What you can do is wait for a pullback tomorrow. So if price pulls back a little bit and you come back within the qualifying zone, you are allowed to take the trade on the next day. You can do that. Block.btc. Go, baby, go. Let's do it, blocks. ZEC USD, yep, and that'll be my last request, guys. Zcash USD has been a very, very, very good trade. Okay, let's take a gander here. Actually, ZEC BTC was a position that I made some money off of. So let's see here. ZEC USD on Bitfinex gave us the long signal. Let's throw up Quadrigo and plot for longs. A couple ways to take this. All right. So ZEC USD would have given us a long signal here, but we're above the qualifying lines, similarly as I just explained for shorts. So we buy the pullback down below the qualifying line, and that would be a great trade. If you missed it, you got a continuation long on this candle, which would have let you hit take profit 1 and maybe take profit 2, although that is, let's actually confirm. Continuation long, take profit 2, 115.80. No, didn't hit take profit 2, but you did hit take profit 1, and you're still above your entry, so you're still up about 7 or 8%. No entry right now, man. This is well in a no trade zone unless we get a good signal. So, however, Minx is telling you to stay in your position. Wadatara is telling you to stay in your position. There's good volume, and RVGI is also telling you to stay in your position. And of course, you are above the baseline, so overall bias is bullish in the first place. Probably not the best time to enter. Most likely a good time to take some profit and move your stop loss to break even and wait for a pullback and a continuation to re-enter. Best of luck to you, man. Looking at an entry of 105 in the next 10 days. I don't know. I don't do price levels, but ideally you would want to see price come down here in between 94 and 102 at this current moment in time. But we'll just keep watching this, man. Just ask for me. Check. We can check it out every day, and we can check it out every day and see when the market looks a little bit more optimum for a good entry or a good re-entry. This big volume, though, coming in at the end, though, does concern me a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback. But again, my overall bias is bullish. Fundamentally, we're above the baseline, and things are looking quite good. All right. All right. With that being said, guys. All right, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Of course, I have been your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. I hope you guys go on to have an absolutely fantastic day. Make sure that you trade safely. Make sure that you take the lessons that we've taught on this stream to heart and that you have a system and a strategy that you are approaching the market with. Don't get swept up by FOMO. Don't get swept up by fear and emotion. Now, are you a busy person and do you often miss the live show? And would you like not to have that problem? Wouldn't it be nice and convenient to just listen to the show afterwards? Well, if you would like to, then you might want to check out the Breaking Bitcoin podcast. So Scott has been working super hard and the podcast is in its beta rollout phase right now. You guys can go to breakingbitcoin.crackingcryptocurrency.com to see current and past show notes, as well as see audio and video feeds on your favorite podcast catcher. We are currently on Google Music and Google Podcasts under the name Cracking Cryptocurrency, and over on Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, under Breaking Bitcoin. Those all seem to be working quite fine. We've got iTunes, iHeartRadio, and a few others coming out soon as they are approved. Let us know if you have a favorite podcatcher that you would like Scott to add the feed to. Otherwise, you may be able to manually add our RSS feed to your favorite podcast catcher by just clicking on the Add Manual RSS feed on the website. You can find all that information and more, as see the show note for today's video when it's published, and all the previous show notes at breakingbitcoin.crackingcryptocurrency.com. That's breakingbitcoin.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And make sure to check out our premium info page to come join us over in the group and see how we are trading the market markets every day over at premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. So I want to give a big shout out to everybody. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Libra coin down in the comments section down below, as well as your thoughts and opinions on the market as well. And again, leave your questions, comments, sarcastic remarks, concerns, and or death threats down in the comments section down below, and I will try to respond to you within 48 hours. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Until tomorrow, guys, I'll see you at noon tomorrow. Trade safely, and I'll catch you in the next one.